the Doghouse today. So let's get started with the first one. You see a few people, having their head down like this. Some look a little confused. You got someone like this. But the one person in football that I'll be letting out at the Doghouse today is Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker has, and you probably can't see him because of the banner. So let's just hide the banner for right now. If you see where Justin Tucker is, that guy has had one of his worst, if not his worst season so far this year. But in the last 2 or 3 games, he's actually been a little bit better. What's going on, Danny? Thank you for supporting the show. But one thing I could say about him is, he's gotten better the last 2 games. Justin Tucker, on the season, is still only kicking 73%, making 73% of his kicks. But that's because of all the kicks that he missed earlier this year. What he's doing now, though, is a really good thing. And in this process of him playing well these last few weeks, he's hit 2 kicks of over 50 yards, a 51 and a 52-yarder. Made all his extra points, even in the last 3 games. Last 3 games, he's made all his extra points. He was 4-4 on Christmas. Then that Saturday against the Steelers, he was also 4-4. Then against the Giants, he was 5-5. So he's made all of his extra points in the last 3 games, 100%. And then 100% from field goal, 3 of 3 in the last 2 games. And against the Giants, he didn't have to kick one because, they scored nothing but touchdowns. It's 35-14, so you got that. But he did everything he needed to do to win, to not be the reason why the Ravens lose those games. So he'll be coming out of the Doghouse this week. So good job getting out. Next up, team in Philadelphia. You don't see the Eagles up here. You don't see the Flyers. You don't see any other Philadelphia team except for one team up here. And that's the 76ers. And they are coming out today. Yes. 76ers have done enough to say that they deserve to be out of the Doghouse. They won. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. And they've had some pretty good wins within their stretch. And, they've had a bad loss in that stretch as well. They lost almost by 30 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Almost lost by 20 to the Pacers, and then they lost a close game to Orlando earlier in that first stretch of this 10-game stretch. But they came back and beat Orlando the very next game. Then they beat Chicago 108-100, swept Charlotte, swept the Hornets. They beat them in their house and then beat them in their own house. Beat them in Charlotte. They went back to Philly and won again. Then they went on the road and, lost to Cleveland. Then the last 3 games against San Antonio, Boston, and Utah, they won all 3 games. Boston was a huge win. That was on Christmas, so that was a huge win for them to be able to beat Boston on Christmas. Boston is considered, if not the best, at least the second best team in the Eastern Conference. They are the defending champions, so that's a huge win from them. And they had some really good contributions in that game. So 76ers seem to be getting a part of the flow. Paul George has not played particularly well, but the team overall, Tyrese Maxey and B when he's playing, they've actually, they're good. Jerry McCain is out for the rest of the season because of what happened to him. But nonetheless, 76ers out of the Doghouse. And next is a really, really well-known streaming service that's been around for a while. It's one of the reasons why Blockbuster and a lot of these other places are gone. It's Netflix. Netflix was in because of the issues they had in that boxing matchup with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Then they had the chance to redeem themselves, and they did absolutely that. In that contest on Christmas, when you had the Chiefs and the Steelers and the Ravens and the Texans, they pretty much outdid the NBA. One game outdid the entirety of the NBA. One game outdid the entirety of the NBA. Well, almost. So the games averaged 24.2, but altogether it was 48.4 million people that watched football on Christmas, which was almost two times more than what the NBA got. Because I believe the NBA got what 25 had 25 million watch the NBA on Christmas, which is great for the NBA because they doubled what they had last year. And we know the NBA's ratings has been down almost all season long. But now, with Netflix doing what they did, they actually have taken charge and helped the NFL pretty much say that they own Christmas now. So NFL and NBA, because the NBA did have a part in this being successful for the NBA, but Netflix by itself, you know, covered the NFL, and they showed that hey man, we can stream live stuff here too. So shout out to the NBA. I mean, shout out to the NFL. Shout out to Netflix, and man, great job getting out of the doghouse. All right.